Okay, great. So good morning again, everyone. I'm Sakina. Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Sakina, Program Director of MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific. And we have with me here today our team. So we have Ellie, Clarissa, Frederick, and Paul. So Ellie will be our flight controller for today. So she will be routing you guys into your breakout rooms. And Ellie, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ali Zimnock. I am from our US team and I am the flight controller for today. So I'll be moving everyone into the respective breakout rooms. If you get moved into a room and you think you're there on accident, just come back into the main room and I'm happy to help you out.
Thanks, Ellie. So we have Clarissa. So Clarissa will be with you guys in the networking room or the break room. Clarissa, you want to say hi?
Hi everyone, so you'll see me in the networking room and we'll have a good chat. And if you need any help with the Kobo links as well, you can approach me. Yeah.
Thanks, Clarissa. So Frederick, you can take it away and pass it over to Paul when you're done.
Will do. Thank you so much, Sakina. Good morning to everyone joining us here in Asia Pacific, and a very early good morning to those of you calling in from Europe and Israel. Thanks for being up. Hope you got a good cup of coffee with you. Good evening to those of you joining us from the US and Canada. This really has turned into a global event. Great to see. My name is Frederick Nyberg. I'm the Managing Director at MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific, based here in Singapore with Sakina and Clarissa. Welcome to our third Asia Pacific online pitch event this year. Paul will tell you everything about today's event very shortly. Let me just remind you that we are hosting these pitch events now every 2 weeks. Our next pitch event on I believe it's the 7th of April, will be focused on diagnostics, infectious disease management, and life science tools. And let me also extend a special welcome to all of our non-sponsoring judges today. We have a record of, I think, close to 34, 35 judges in all. We have a number of investors and senior industry executives who are judging our Asia Pacific program for the very first time. Great to have you here. We have an exciting few hours ahead of us, and to tell us more about that, let me hand over to MedTech Innovator CEO, Paul Grant.
Thank you, Frederick. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our pitch event for this evening. As you've heard, evening for me, morning for many of you. Maybe perhaps very early morning, as Frederick said. So I'm the CEO at MedTech Innovator. I'm Paul Grand. If you've never been with us before, I'm going to spend a couple minutes and tell you what MedTech Innovator is all about. If you've been here many, many times, thank you for coming back early, and you're going to get a chance to hear the latest updates. So let me go ahead and share my screen and tell you what tonight's event is going to be all about, or today's event. All right, so MedTech Innovator is an accelerator. Now, when we talk about accelerators, often people think about geographical accelerators. We are region agnostic. We're looking for the best companies all over the world. In this case, we're looking for companies from the Asia Pacific region that are really transforming the healthcare system. We want to find those companies that really have the opportunity to make a huge difference. And then we want to make sure that you succeed. That's what this is all about. MedTech Innovator is a nonprofit. We don't take equity in the companies that participate or any fees. We are paid by the industry and by governments and federal agencies who have the same agenda, who just want to see medical innovation reach patients. And what you're seeing here on the screen is the graduating class of MedTech Innovator 2019, when we were on the stage at the MedTech Forum in Singapore. And this is an opportunity for our companies to network not only with each other, but also with the leaders of the MedTech industry. So they're up on the stage in front of all the senior leaders from across Asia Pacific at all the major MedTech companies. And that's what we're really trying to do here, is we're trying to bring together the world's leading startups with the world's leading strategics. So a little bit about our program. We're very proud of the opportunity to bring these technologies to the market. MedTech Innovator now has 340 companies that have gone through our program, 77 products on the market. That's something that we're very proud of. Of those companies, we've recently had another acquisition this week. So that brings us to 14 acquisitions from our alumni. But our alumni in general, 340 companies, that are super high performing. These are some of the companies that you would want to know if you're an investor or if you're one of the companies that are pitching today. These are companies that could be your peers. So if you have an opportunity perhaps to enter another market, you could reach out to these companies and ask them about what it's like in Europe or in Asia or in the US or wherever these companies may be based. You can reach out for resources, investor introductions, etc. This is a super high performing network, the most active accelerator portfolio in terms of raising funding. Our companies are currently closing 2 funding rounds per week, which is pretty incredible. So to tell you a little more now about kind of the diversity here, we have companies from all across Asia Pacific that apply to be part of our Asia Pacific program. And what you're seeing here is that in addition to the Asia Pacific, we occasionally have a company from Europe or from the US or perhaps from Israel that makes it into this program because they're interested in entering the Asia Pacific market. So those are the companies that we're interested in having in this program. And what you're seeing here are some of our alumni, of course, from many, many different countries: China, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Australia, India, Singapore, the US, Estonia. I mean, we have companies from all over the place. But again, this is just our Asia Pacific program. And the companies that you see here, if you recognize their logos, these are some of the leading startups and scale-ups in the region. Now, today's event is part of a selection process. So for those of you who aren't clear on how this works, MedTech Innovator has companies that apply to be part of our program, and then we invite about 20% of them to pitch in events like the one we have today. And that decision is based on input from our corporate partners who you're going to meet today as part of this process. So really, today's event is about taking some of the startups that we think are the most promising, giving them a chance to pitch our corporate partners, investors, and others. And then we're going to gather feedback and we're going to evaluate these companies and decide which ones to advance in our process. This slide is to show you some of the metrics we use for that. So we have 3 categories, as you see: value, execution, and momentum. And the things that I'll point out here, most importantly, is your product has to offer value. Your product has to have, or your team has to have, the ability to execute, along with the resources to execute on whatever milestones we're going to be dealing with during the program. We just want to make sure that you're going to have the resources to be successful at the outcome of this program. Additionally, momentum is very important. We want to find companies that are making progress. Now, we know some of you are on a long development path, and that's just fine, but we want companies, again, that have definable milestones that we can understand and that we can see that you're on pace to deliver against those milestones. So these are some of the metrics that people are going to be thinking about when they're listening to the presentations today. Now, if we look at the overall kind of schematic of what we're doing here, the first thing you'll see on the left-hand side is that over 500 companies applied to be part of MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific this year. Of those, we're inviting about 60 to pitch in our pitch events. We might invite a couple more as part of the process. We are doing this again based on the input from our corporate partners who are looking at the applications, as well as many, many other reviewers who are weighing in with their input. They're investors, they're customers, there are providers. These are people who understand the market, who are weighing in. So we're using this process to select the companies that are going to pitch. Of the companies that are pitching, we're going to choose 20 to be part of our accelerator program. These are the companies that are going to get corporate mentorship. They're going to get access to investors, showcased at conferences, and all sorts of other benefits. We're going to choose all these companies to be part of a program. And at the end of the program, we have a competition. There'll be 5 companies chosen as finalists, all of whom will receive a prize, one of which will be the grand prize winner, which is going to be US $150,000 this year. Additional companies will receive smaller prizes. In terms of the overall flow, you're about halfway through our road tour right now. We're on a pitch event number 3 out of 6. After this process ends in May, we're going to sit down with all of our corporate partners. We're going to talk about their diligence and the diligence that's been done by others on the companies that have presented, like the event today. And then we're going to choose companies to be part of our program. And that's when you'll hear from us most likely. You may hear in between, as some people do follow-ups with you, but ultimately the final selections will be done in May. In June, we're going to start our accelerator program, and that will run until August. That's the time when you're going to have mentorship and other benefits as part of the program. This will end in September, and we're going to have a showcase at the Asia Pacific MedTech Forum, which you will hear more about. This is something that we do in partnership with APAC Med, a leading organization for the large and small companies in Asia Pacific in the MedTech industry. So that's where we have our showcase and our finals. This gives you a little bit of a visual on what that looks like. So you can see the showcase if we do this in person, which I certainly hope we will, where we'll actually be there in front of an audience who are there to learn about the companies. So you see one of our companies presenting from the last time we did this in person. And then you see the stage down below where our companies are then presenting in front of our judges and a very large audience who votes for the winner. So the important thing here is it's always the audience that chooses the winner. In terms of our overall roadmap for these pitch events, as we said, this is our third pitch event. Today, we're going to be focused on chronic disease management, renal health, OBGYN, and oncology technologies. So you're going to be hearing pitches from a number of different companies, 10 companies in total in different sectors. We try to make these events thematic instead of regional this year because we're not traveling around. We're doing this all virtually. You can see some of the upcoming events. If you want to be part of one of those events, if you're a judge, you can reach out to Sakina on the Zoom chat today, and she'll get you taken care of. Now, what's really important is that MedTech Innovator could never do this on our own with our team. And we have a phenomenal team. You've met some of them today, but that's not enough. The partners that you see here on the slide support us financially, but they also support us with their teams. So you will meet people from all of these companies today. They'll have an opportunity to meet with you in breakouts, ask you questions. This is an opportunity to learn about them and their organizations, and for you to even ask them questions as part of the process. These are the companies that will mentor you as part of the program. Johnson & Johnson, Nipro, Olympus, Align Technology, Oliver Healthcare Packaging, Siemens Healthineers, Enterprise Singapore, and Cambridge Consultants. These are the partners, as I mentioned, who you'll have a chance to work with if you're selected for our program. Now, as I mentioned, this is an evaluation, and we have judges from these companies that I just mentioned, as well as others. So this is slide right here. It's just to give you kind of a quick view. We're not going to introduce everybody, but it's an opportunity just to quickly glance at who some of the other judges are, the evaluators. You'll see there are strategics beyond just our corporate partners who are participating as well. We have representatives from APAC Med here, so you can ask Gabriel if you happen to see him about that opportunity. We'll have representatives, as I mentioned, from all of our corporate partners, as well as a number of investors and others. We also have members of our US program, which is going to be really interesting because, again, if you're in one of the breakout rooms and you're talking to one of our US partners, they could talk to you about the US market as well. So it's a great opportunity to meet a number of diverse people. There's a bio book that has contact information for everyone who's participating today. That will be in the chat. All right, so I've done my talking. Now it's time to hear from our startups. What we're going to be doing now is we have 10 companies that are going to present today. The way our format works is that we're going to have short pitches, 1-minute pitches from each of our presenting companies. And then we're going to move to breakout rooms. And the way this works is there are 4 sessions, and we'll get into the details of how that will work at the end of these 1-minute pitches. But suffice to say that our judges can only spend time in breakouts with 4 companies, but they would like to know about all 10. So this gives you and our judges the opportunity to learn about the 10 presenting companies for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the first slide, which will be first actually for our overall list of pitch companies. So you can see the 10 companies that were selected for today. We have companies presenting from Australia, Israel, India, Switzerland, South Korea, Singapore, China, Canada, India. We are, again, a global program. The important thing here is these are all companies and technologies that want to enter the Asia Pacific market, and that's why we selected them to pitch today. So I'm going to go alphabetically through these companies. I'm going to bring up 23 strands first, and the presenter will be Mark. So Mark, when you're ready, you could go ahead and start talking. I'm going to have a little countdown timer here in the corner, so you're going to want to stick to your countdown. You watch the timer. If you see it getting to red and it says time's up, please wrap up your pitch so that we can stay on schedule. So Mark, if you're unmuted and you're ready, please tell us about 23 strands.
Thanks, Paul, and good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Rosser, CEO and co-founder of 23strands, and I'm here to introduce how we've made it our mission to bring whole human genome sequencing, the full 3 billion base pairs of your DNA, for clinical use, and deliver on the promise of lifetime personalized medicine. And while whole genome sequencing can be potentially applicable across every disease and therapy, we've begun our journey of commercialization in reproductive health, because we've found, as within our team, reproductive health has had an impact on all of us in one way or another. We've already built a team of experts across data engineering, data science, and clinical leadership under the guidance of Professor Dion Venter, who's fortunately here today, a pioneer in genomic-based pathology for most of his career. And we're starting in an already accepted private pay IVF model with the intention to build new revenue models into the future. And we have, as a team, have already had success in something very similar in the diagnostic imaging space here in Australia. Our new seed round has been open for the commercialization, and we believe the time is right, as we've all found genomics is critical in health today. We're looking forward to sharing more today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Looking forward to hearing from you and the team in our breakouts. And glad we've got some experts here in this space, very important, so thank you. All right, next we have Bless Medical with Dr. Ifrat. So as soon as you're ready, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us the story.
Okay, hi, I'm Dr. Ifrat Shul, the CEO of Bless Medical. Excessive menstrual bleeding affects the health and the quality of life of hundreds of millions of women all over the world. 1 out of 3 women suffers from heavy periods. Bless Medical develops a disruptive solution, an intrauterine device serving as a contraceptive, but it also reduces menstrual bleeding. Butterfly is revolutionary as it solves the common clinical problem of heavy bleeding. We are using a novel technology which is IP protected. There is a real need here and a multi-billion market of hundreds of millions of women for whom there is no good solution today. We believe that in the future, Butterfly will be one of the products that women won't be able to live without, just like tampons or deodorants. Our team at Bless Medical includes highly experienced people in the development of medical devices. Hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ifrat, and thank you for getting here so early. Looking forward to hearing more about this technology, really important space. All right, next we have Dama Innovations. So this is going to be Kranthi presenting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kranthi, and I'm the CEO and founder of Dama Innovations. So we have developed a product which helps in hot flashes. Hot flashes are a condition that occurs for menopausal women. More than 80% of menopausal women suffer from significant hot flashes. Hot flashes is a sudden increase in body temperature and feeling of flushing and heat and uncomfortable. This lasts for 5 to 10 minutes and causes significant havoc on women. And there is no known available solution to this. So with Cool Cuff, what we are doing is we are cooling the body down naturally in seconds and helps relieve the symptoms of hot flashes in less than 30 seconds. We basically do the cognitive cooling, actual cooling, and the perceptual cooling and reduce the symptoms of hot flashes. This technology has won many awards with the size and scale how we can cool it. And we have the successful team which has successfully commercialized many other products in this space. Thanks.
Thank you, Kranthi. I mean, it's great. I know this is for hot flashes, but this is something that I want too. I would love to have that on a hot day. Thank you very much. All right, next we're going to hear from Heart Force with Claudia presenting.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, I'm Claudia, CEO Heart Force Korea. Our goal is to lower the mortality rate caused by heart disease. 18 million die annually. 3 out of 4 don't show symptoms. The first sign often is a heart attack. We are proud to present the Cardio Pro, the world's first complete non-invasive device for the early detection of coronary artery disease, reaching now patients that do not show symptoms and thus need it the most. By a self-assessment, anytime, anywhere, in less than 1 minute, Cardio Pro detects your heart health. Clinical studies have proven high accuracy. For market entry, we target US followed by Asia and Europe. Coronary artery disease represents a 22 billion market opportunity with a 19% CAGR. Currently, we are raising $6 million to complete last clinical trial and regulatory. Please join our journey for better heart health for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Better heart health is very important to all of us. So thank you for being here. All right, next we have Huino with Xinhua presenting.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Sophie Lee, Deputy CEO of Trino. Existing heart patient monitor or Holter monitor is an unpleasant medical experience for the patients and a big analysis burden for the medical professionals. Trino aims to provide brand new medical experience for everyone. Whether a patient is symptomatic or asymptomatic, Trino enables timely intervention through real-time active monitoring of arrhythmia with its proprietary edge computing technologies and real-time clinical decision support system. Team Trino is built with the best talents in the market, covering hardware, device, AI software, service platform, and clinical strategies. I'm looking forward to sharing more about us and our vision later today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Very important technology. Looking forward to hearing more about it in the breakouts. All right, next up, we're going to have Ospicon Systems with Desmond presenting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Desmond, CEO and founder of Ospicon Systems. Ospicon invented breath optics, a technology that uses optic fiber sensors to couple BCG signal from human subjects to detect vital signs. We manufacture and supply optic fiber contact-free sensor for detection of AOP and TTN events of neonates. Contact-free sensing can eliminate skin trauma during long-term respiratory monitoring compared to current predicate system that uses electrode with adhesive patch. Used by maternity and children hospitals for monitoring neonates in NICU and maternity nursery, our sensor mat can be prescribed for home monitoring until the preemie reach full term. Our medical device has obtained CFDA approvals in China and has been field tested in 100 hospital sites. Ospicon targets to be the premier solution provider for neonate monitoring from hospital to home. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, very, very important. Love to see technology for neonates. Looking forward to hearing more. Next up, we have Shanghai Xinhua Biopharmaceuticals with Xinhua presenting.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shanghai Li, the founder and CEO of Xinhua. Xinhua is a startup company focused on blood selectively purification at one of the first regions of JLab Shanghai. Current blood purification techniques like plasmapheresis don't have selectivity and will remove all plasma. 99% of them are beneficial. We are developing a global original medical device, EAMS, which will make our extracorporeal blood circulation and use enzyme to degrade toxic molecules in plasma. We hope to reconstitute the metabolism function of life by enzyme. In the future, no matter what kinds of toxic molecules are accumulated in your blood, we can selectively clear them. Thank you.
Thank you. That would be an amazing innovation. So I'm crossing my fingers that you're able to do this. This would be great. All right. Next up, we have Sonic Insights Medical with George presenting. George, if you're there.
You hear me? Do you hear me? Okay, yes. Perfect. Yeah. Hi there. I'm George Aleftiras, CEO of Sonic Insights. We're on a mission to improve access to an affordable diagnostic solution for chronic disease. Our first indication is fatty liver disease, an emerging health crisis that affects 1 in 4 people worldwide. Today, physicians are poorly equipped to manage this disease, relying on biopsy and MRI. The good news is that we've developed a breakthrough point-of-care ultrasound solution that fits in the palm of your hand. It's the first handheld 3D liver health assessment tool that's comparable to an MRI. And it fits in the palm of your hand. It's fast, accurate, convenient, and affordable. We've received FDA clearance. We have 10 customer pilots underway. We are revenue generating, And we're working with top pharma to develop next generation NAS drugs and also CBT digital interventions. In the future, you'll find us in a doctor's office near you. Our team are experts in medtech, entrepreneurship, ultrasound, and healthcare, and other stakeholders in the healthcare space. Join us on our mission. Thanks.
Thank you. We know this is a huge problem, so really excited to hear more about it. Thank you. All right, next up, we're going to have Theranosys Life Sciences, Dr. Kanan presenting.
Thanks, Paul, and a wonderful good morning to everybody. And I also take this opportunity to thank MedTech Innovator for presenting our company. So we have rebranded as Oncophenomics because of another company in the US. I don't want to talk about that. So we are the world's first liquid biopsy, but then later on we realized other companies are also doing similar angles. So now we are calling it as Asia's first liquid biopsy, especially for cancer immunotherapy. And so this is a microfluidics lab on a chip technology. Imagine a traffic camera. This is basically a traffic camera at the microscopic level. We actually look at the cancer cells running around in the bloods from the peripheral blood of the cancer patients. This is very useful for treatment monitoring and also for clinical research and immuno-oncology drug discovery and development. So currently it's a research use only platform. So we hope we'll enter the clinical space very soon.
Thank you. I think that was a great idea to rebrand.
Yes.
Good idea. All right, great. Looking forward to hearing the details. Next up, our last of our lightning round pitches from Uppermit. We're going to hear from Jackie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jackie, the founder and CEO of Uppermit. Due to the outbreak of virus, kidney failure patients bear huge risks during the dialysis treatment at the clinic. To solve this problem, Uppermit is developing a remote management platform, allowing patients to safely do dialysis at home. It's called PDCare. PDCare includes a portable device and a data management service. The patient's data are logged automatically through our device and synced with the clinic, so that medical staff can understand where the patients conduct dialysis regularly. In addition, our exclusive optical system can help patients better identify infection at early stage, hence they can do dialysis at home safely. Our clinical study has started at the hospital and moved to our first in-human trial by the end of this year, working closely with some across different countries so we could finalize our spec within 1 year. And we are Uppermit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jackie. Peritoneal dialysis, home dialysis, I think is definitely the future. So glad to have you here with us for this important technology. So thank you. Okay, so those are our 10 companies. These are the companies that you're going to have a chance, judges, to meet with over these next 4 sessions. So let me quickly orient the judges for those of you who are judging for the first time. For those of you who've done this before, well, you've heard this before. For our companies and for our judges, this is how the reviewing form is going to work. The companies, you don't have to do anything, you're just presenting. But our judges, first thing you're going to do, every time you hear a pitch, you're going to use the form. There's a link for that in your calendar invite and your judges packet. For some reason you don't have that link, you can message Sakina or Clarissa, and they'll make sure that you have the links for the judging form. But the judging form, each time you hear a company pitch, you're going to choose that little radio button next to the company's name. And then you're going to click the little button that says, were you previously aware of the company? Means, did you hear them before MedTech Innovator? Next, you'll see a box where you can enter your pitch notes. We're going to send them to you at the end of today. So don't worry about writing your notes down separately somewhere else. Keep them here in the form, and then we will email them to you. The next box is very important. So this is feedback that we're going to send to the companies. After the pitch event, we take all of the feedback, we put it into a form, and we send it to each of the companies individually. This will be anonymous. So whatever you put in this box, it won't say who said it. It'll just say an investor said, or a manufacturer said, or a service provider, and so on said the following. So judges, any constructive feedback you can put here would be terrific. You could say, presentation was really well organized. Thank you very much. Or great job answering the questions. But we also want you to give constructive feedback. So you might say something like, the business model needed clarification. I wish you had told me that during the main presentation. Or your team slide should have been part of the deck instead of having to bring it up later. Whatever you want to tell people. Customers, could have been better described. competitors, you were missing competitors, whatever you want to tell people, this is an opportunity to tell them. You don't have to write a lot of information here, but whatever feedback you provide will be sent to the company. Next, there's going to be a series of rating questions on the form as you scroll down. We ask you first to rate the company's innovation as either me too, meaning it's pretty much the same as other technology that's out there, incremental, meaning it's an advance over what's out there, or transformational, meaning it's a leap. This is something that's going to be making a major impact on patient care. Then we want you to tell us about the overall likelihood of success. Now, this isn't comparing all the companies that are pitching today. We're not giving out any prizes today. We're not, evaluating the companies against each other today. Each company is going to be evaluated on its own merit. So we just want you to say kind of overall, what do you think the likelihood of success for this company on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being weak, 10 being strong. Next, we have the factors that contribute to the likelihood of success. And we've asked you to really tell us a little bit about 5 of them. Number 1, the value to the patient. It's okay if something doesn't have high, strong value to the patient. That's fine. You could give it a 1 or a 2 if they have low value to the patient. There might be other benefits that cause us to select the company later. Technical feasibility. If they're on the market providing the solution, it's probably very technically feasible. If it's super early and it's still very high risk, it might be less technically feasible. So again, 1 to 5, 5 being strong. Strength of the team, that's not just the presenter, but also the overall team. So as you're looking at the team slide and asking people questions about the team, tell us, do you think this team is capable of executing on the plan? 5 being strong. Healthcare economics, value proposition, and business model. We just want to know, are people going to pay for this? Likelihood of funding, would you personally write a check? Think of it that way. So if you would write a check, give the company a 4 or 5. If you think it's right in the middle, give it a 3. And if you think it's poor, give it a 1 or a 2. These next fields are all free text fields. You can type anything you want. We just want highlights here. You don't have to give us a lot of information. Number 1, what are some of the risks for this opportunity? What are some of the things that you think the company really needs to rethink? So for example, you might say, hey, this company just doesn't have the right management team, or this company is struggling to raise capital. What are the risks? This company is super early and highly unproven, and that's a risk. Whatever you want to tell us. Lots of competition. Next box is for things that are going well. What is attractive about this company? You could tell us things like, again, phenomenal CEO, great presenter, great key opinion leaders on board. They've got lots of, they've already got great compelling clinical data, whatever you think we should know about the company. Then validation. This is really important. How well does the company understand the key stakeholders, and how have they validated with those stakeholders? So for example, if the company has just been operating in one person's lab and they've really never ventured out of that lab, you should tell us that, they really haven't validated this. Or on the other hand, if someone said, oh, we've talked to hundreds of customers, et cetera, then we know that's better for validation. So just, again, some highlights here for us. The last free text box is very important. And these are resources that you think the company could benefit from as part of the MedTech Innovator Program. Now, judges, you should ask during the pitch round at some point while you're in that breakout, hey, what do you think you would get out of being part of the MedTech Innovator Program? And that might be things like access to investors, which is something that everyone's looking for, or people might be looking for go-to-market strategy, understanding the different markets across Asia Pacific. Someone might say, hey, we're really strong in Japan, but we want to understand China. We're really strong in China. We want to understand Japan. What are things that we could add in value? They need help with regulatory, whatever it might be. These are things that we can provide as resources. So startups, if you're not being asked this question, you should volunteer it. We really hope to be selected for this program because we're looking for visibility to industry. We're looking for access to investors. We're looking to access for mentorship. Whatever it is that you think you're looking for, please tell us. The last question, judges, is if advanced to our diligence process, would you be interested in a follow-up call? What we're asking there is at the end of today, we're going to put a report up on the screen just for the judges, not for the startups, where we're going to look at all of the different companies and we're going to talk about them. We're all going to discuss them, all the judges. And then after that, we're going to kind of narrow down the list. And we're going to say, hey, out of these 10, these 4 or these 5, or maybe even all 10 were really exciting and should be advanced in our process. And then here at MedTech Innovator with our team, we're going to choose some of the people who answered yes to this question to have a follow-up call. It doesn't mean you're automatically going to be selected. Doesn't mean we're going to be calling on you to do this. It just means you might be interested in being one of those people. At the end, you can add some additional comments if you've forgotten anything else. And then you can hit the submit button and that will upload this to our server. If you haven't had time to finish your form, you're going to finish the pitch round, which is 20 minutes long. There's going to be a 5-minute break. During that time, you could be finishing your form. If you haven't finished your form yet, you can hit Save Draft. It will put your form in a cache in your browser. And I'm putting my hand up here in the corner because that's where you'll see a number appear. So if you've saved draft once, you'll see a little 1 in the corner of your browser. Don't close your browser because it's cached locally and you will lose the data. So you're going to want to go back later, click that 1 in the corner. It'll open up the screen. You can click the company name, finish your form, click submit. And the same goes for all the different companies that you're going to meet with today. All right, so before we get into our pitch sessions, let me just stop sharing here and again, kind of explain how this is going to work. So if you look here on the screen, you can see we've got, if you're looking at the gallery view, we've got a lot of people here. I mentioned before, we have a lot of judges. These judges all have different qualifications, have different backgrounds, come from different companies. And the exciting thing is you're going to have a chance to really get some really great input and feedback from these different judges and evaluators. So while you're in these breakout sessions, there's going to be 4 breakout sessions in total. The startups, you're only going to be in 2 breakout sessions. You're going to be in 2 sessions with judges and 2 sessions you'll be in the break room. While you're in the break room, you're going to be there with the other startups. This is a great opportunity to pull up the bio book. The link again should be in the chat. The link is also in the packet we sent you. Look over the bios, talk to the other startups. A lot of you guys are in the same field or in related fields. You can help each other. This is a great opportunity, startups, to network with each other. Some of you guys have raised, most of you have raised money already. So you might say, hey, we're looking actually to raise capital right now. Anybody have any investors you guys would suggest? That's a great networking opportunity. For the judges, when you're in the breakout sessions, you're going to be in 4 sessions. You don't have a separate break room. You're going to be in 4 judging sessions. We're going to move you from room to room. You don't have to do anything. We'll do all that work for you. That's part of what the 5-minute breaks are for, is for us to reprogram the systems that we move you to your new room. So that's basically how it's going to work. Startups, this is very important. You're going to have 20 minutes in the breakout room. On the top of the screen, you'll see little messages every once in a while that say something like 10 minutes remaining, 5 minutes remaining. This is something you want to pay attention to because you're not there to give a 20-minute pitch presentation. You're there to give like a 5-minute pitch presentation, maybe 7 minutes. At a stretch, 10 minutes. You want to try and get through your slides as quickly as possible. And I don't mean rush, but I mean get through your slides and then ask for Q&A. And you should have a healthy 10 to 15 minutes for good, solid Q&A, because that's why our judges are here is to ask you questions and judges to offer feedback. So you might say, hey, really interesting. Have you thought about XYZ? Have you thought about entering this other market? Have you thought about applying for this grant? Have you thought about this amazing program that no one knows about that's happening in Singapore or in China or wherever it might be? So offer resources to the companies. This is a great time to get to know people. Also, again, remember there's a bio book with everyone's contact information. Where possible, we also have links to their LinkedIn profiles when you click everyone's name. So you don't have to ask people for their contacts. It's all there for you in the bio book. So that's how this is going to work. After the 20 minutes, there'll be a little countdown clock for the last minute. We'll come back here in the main room. We'll have a 5-minute break, which will be an opportunity to take a real break or to meet some of our partners. So that's going to be coming up as well. So don't multitask, stay focused. You're going to have a 20-minute pitch session, which is going to start in a moment. All you have to do is click the little button to enter the room. And then for anyone who's watching on YouTube, unfortunately, you're not going to have a chance to see into the breakout rooms. We can't do that. But we're really glad that you've joined us for this opportunity to meet the 10 companies that are presenting today. And if you're interested in following up with them, you're welcome to message our team. You can email apacsupport@medtechinnovator.org, and we'll be happy to connect you with the presenters from today. So thank you, YouTubers, for joining us today. And you can also, I'm also being told there's a hello@medtechinnovator.org email address. That's also maybe easier. hello@medtechinnovator.org. So again, that's how it's going to work today. If you have any questions, you have any problems, you're welcome to message the team here that you met earlier. So again, Clarissa, Sakina, you can come back to the main room if you have any trouble, and we will take care of you. I will be in the breakout rooms along with others. Any of the MedTech Innovator representatives, Frederick, myself, Sakina, we're going to be recording some of the sessions. So we make sure we have a recording for anybody who missed it today. So that's it. During the break, you'll have a chance to get to know some